Today we're going to be looking at Uberliss in the color Blue Peony. So I have my swatches labeled 1 through 12, but that's not synonymous with hair levels. I do pictures and clips near the end of the video, so the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. These are human hair swatches, but the only one that is virgin hair is the number 4 black swatch. The rest have been chemically dyed or bleached at some point in their existence. One is pink. I really just want to see if the blue will cover the pink or if it'll make like a purple color or something. I'm very curious. 2 is gray, 3 is a natural red, 4 is black, and then from 4 to 11 is a range that goes to a platinum blonde. And then number 12 is a toned version of number 11. So to start, I'm going to take the dye directly from the container and I'll apply it directly to the top of each swatch. And then some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I will do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. So please keep in mind everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take dye differently. Also, I've noticed that different monitors and screens can change how a color looks, especially undertones. So please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly turn out for you. For the diluted section, we are doing a 4-to-1 ratio. So that's going to be 1 part of the dye to 4 parts diluter. So the cool thing about Uberliss is that it is a bond sustainer, basically implying that it will repair some damage in bleached hair, which is really great. So when it comes to diluting, I always just use a plain white conditioner. I'm pretty sure these dyes also have conditioners in them along with the bond sustainer. So I'm assuming that when you dilute the color, you will dilute the bond sustaining ability as well. But there is a clear version of this if that is the main reason you are attracted to this brand. I'm gonna let it sit for about 3 hours. I will then rinse it out and I'll meet you back here and we'll do some comparisons. So the dye itself actually looks pretty cool toned, but I wouldn't say on the hair it looks quite as cool toned. It actually probably looks the most cool toned on the number 1 swatch that was pink. So obviously, like I said, it looks quite cool toned on the top, but not purple. The bottom half looks much closer to a purple, but I can't really say whether it looks purple. It almost still looks blue, but kind of purple. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. It's definitely teetering on that line of blue and purple. Usually number 2 is the most cool toned for all of our dyes because it's the gray swatch, but I actually feel like it doesn't look too far off from 10 and 11, and other than the number 1, the other one that's the most cool is the number 12. The direct dye section really doesn't look too bad in terms of like being greenish blue, but the ends look pretty greenish blue to me. So for number 3, 5, and 6, I would say the direct dye portion turned it to like almost black. There is a slight more greenish tint on the number 3, but generally just kind of glancing at it, it just looks like a really dark, almost black brown maybe. It definitely dyed number 7 and 8, but based off my experience with colors like this, I wouldn't recommend putting it on your hair unless you have maybe something closer to 10 or lighter. In my experience, if your hair especially is virgin hair, it'll just wash right out the next time that you go to shower. So be cautious with that. And while I said 10 and onward, I actually think it looks better on 11 and 12 for the direct dye portion. And it's actually my favorite for the diluted section on number 12. In person, the diluted section for number 11 looks a little bit patchy, like it's not meant to be lightened. But on the tone swatch, it looks very smooth and consistent. So it took much better to the toned hair. And obviously I don't know for sure why that happens, but my assumption would be the yellow tones in the hair kind of conflicting with the blue pigment, making it harder to appear as blue. But I won't lie, even the direct dye portion looks really, really good on number 12. So we're gonna go right into our comparisons now. And when I saw this dye, the first thing it reminded me was of Arctic Fox in the color Poseidon. So let's compare that. This is comparable to number 12. This is comparable to number 11, number 10, and number 9. So from the angle that I'm sitting at, it looks to me like Poseidon is just a little bit lighter than the Peony. I almost want to say that Poseidon looks a tad bit more cool toned. And if it is, it's just ever so slightly. And Poseidon is actually a color I put in my husband's hair. He has probably a color close to number 7, but ashier. And like I said, it dyed his hair, but then the next time he showered, it just washed right out. So I would definitely say to really only do these kinds of blues if you have fairly light blonde hair. But yeah, they're pretty similar actually. I think looking at the diluted sections compared, I do think I want to say that Poseidon's is slightly more cool toned because it looks a little less green here than it does here, but really they're not that far off from each other. Our next comparison is going to be IROIRO in the color light blue. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, number 10, and number 9. Light blue is a very pretty color. It's very saturated and bright. So the Peony now looks a little bit more muted and soft. And the light blue is especially nice because it is so cool toned. But I'm gonna just throw it out there. The IROIRO is pretty patchy on the 9, 10, and 11. It looks the best on the number 12. So it could be my theory again about how the yellow tones in blonde hair can conflict with like cooler toned blue pigments, but I would recommend regardless with light blue to probably tone your hair first to get a more even application. So from my observation, light blue is more saturated and bright and more cool toned. blue Peony is a little bit softer, slightly, but only slightly more green, but like I said, very slightly. And actually now I feel like compared to the light blue, this end piece here looks kind of like a denim, and I really like it. It's very beautiful. We have a little spider friend. Oh, I dropped him. Come here. All right, I'm gonna move. Oh, I'm gonna move you gently. Okay. Oh, let go of me. My dog came over to investigate. So we're gonna go right into the before and after clips. Those, as well as anything near the end of the video, will all be done in natural lighting. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do dyes that do not test on animals. Thank you so much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.